Everybody is ablaze right now. Everybody's wondering, what is really going on with Angel Reese? Has she just flat out quit again? Has she quit on the Chicago Sky? Angel, you gotta be, hold on, you have to have some level of self-awareness here.
The WNBA is buzzing with one question. Has Angel Reese flat out quit on the Chicago Sky? This isn't speculation pulled out of thin air. The timing, the history, and the optics all point toward a pattern that fans have seen before.
I think Angel Reese, and I'm saying this with my chest out, I think she's quit on the Chicago Sky. She's been claiming a back injury basically since the All-Star break. And there's no details. Every day we hear that Angel Reese is day to day. And every week there's no update on what she's struggling with, what she's doing. There's nothing. There's no information about Angel Reese. I think she's quit on this season. I think this is a worse version than Kawhi Leonard.
Officially, she's day-to-day with a mysterious back issue. Unofficially, many believe it's the same disappearing act that's followed her for years. Last season, it was a sudden season-ending wrist injury. This year, the narrative is deja vu. The Sky are somehow winning more without her, while Caitlin Clark battles a legitimate groin injury and still finds ways to show up for her team. The contrast is impossible to ignore, and the backlash is growing louder. Like, subscribe and comment if this feels like another calculated PR stunt from Reese to dodge accountability. Because the deeper this goes, the more it looks like quitting dressed up as injury management.
Hey, look, bro, you gotta remember, she quit in Unrivaled. She just stopped playing in Unrivaled. Said she was hurt, didn't show up for the championship game, didn't even show up and watch. Last season, she claimed her wrist was messed up, didn't finish playing in none of the games. Now, this year, she's saying this season, it's her back. It looked like she's not finishing playing in none of the games. The Sky needs you. The Chicago Sky, you guys are the gum on the bottom of the shoe of the league. They need Angel Reese to play in games. Angel, where you at? Where you at, Angel? This is nuts.
Angel Reese's reputation is not being built on clutch performances, but on a mounting record of vanishing when the spotlight turns harsh. Last season ended with a sudden wrist injury announcement, complete with surgery framed as essential to avoid long-term damage. There was no gradual comeback, no push to finish strong, just a clean exit when the team's fortunes had soured. Even before that, in the Unrivaled League, she walked away mid-season citing injury and didn't even appear to support her teammates in the championship game. Now the script is playing out again, only with a back injury replacing the wrist. The timing, once again, is impossible to overlook. Chicago hits a rough patch, losses pile up, and the franchise player is nowhere to be seen.
Angel Reese! She might have tapped out, y'all. Angel Reese may have tapped out and quit on the Chicago Sky. Everybody is speculating, what is this back injury? What's going on? Hey, are you trying to pretend like you hurt because Caitlin Clark really is hurt? Wait, what's going on? What's going on, man?
Critics argue this isn't bad luck. It's a strategy. 2 seasons, 2 mysterious exits, and each time the departure comes when the narrative around her game is weakest. That's not coincident. It's a pattern written in real time. The pattern isn't just in the injuries, it's in the timing. Angel Reese's back issue surfaced right as the Chicago Sky's season hit another downward spiral. One week, she's in the lineup. The next, she's off the court with no specifics, no recovery timeline, and no visible rehab updates. Day-to-day becomes week-to-week without explanation, leaving fans guessing. The coincidence is hard to ignore. These disappearances arrive when the team needs a spark but is drowning in losses.
She's using her back as an excuse to sit out because she doesn't really care about basketball. I think she looks over at Caitlin Clark and says, hey, Caitlin Clark is out with a legitimate injury. I proved my point before the All-Star game when I went on a 10-game run trying to justify being on the All-Star team. When that first ballot came out, when the first voting results came out about the All-Star game and I was 13th, holy cow, Angel Reese panicked, started playing hard, tried to put up some stats to justify being on the All-Star team, did that, and now she said, hey, the Chicago Sky sucked this year, peace out.
It's not the first time either. The same script played out last year with the wrist injury taking her out of a losing season before it could tarnish her personal stats. Now, as the Sky flounder, the silence surrounding her back issue raises the same question. Does she see more value in protecting her brand than grinding through adversity? The more this drags on, the less it looks like injury management, and the more it looks like selective participation. If there was ever a moment to silence critics, it was the Fever Sky showdown in Indianapolis, a matchup hyped as one of the WNBA's hottest tickets. Instead of suiting up, Angel Reese stayed home. No courtside presence, no show of solidarity, just an empty seat where the franchise face was supposed to be.
She identified once they lost Vandersloot, their point guard, early in the year, and once they started getting their brains beat in, hey, we're not gonna win anything this year. I'm not putting these L's on my resume. I'm going to have an excuse for the Chicago Sky potentially coming in with the worst or second worst record in the WNBA. These losses will not be on my resume.
The absence becomes harder to defend when compared to her appearance at the All-Star game in Indiana just weeks earlier, smiling for cameras and staging a publicity stunt about taking over Caitlin Clark's trap. The optics are damning, healthy enough for PR photo ops, but unavailable when the league's most watched rivalry is on the line. Fans are left wondering if she skipped to avoid facing Clark in a high-pressure game, especially with the Sky's season already slipping away. When the biggest stage calls, stars step up. Reese's no-show only fuels the belief she's choosing her moments carefully and not for the team's benefit. What makes this absence sting even more for her supporters is the uncomfortable truth the numbers reveal.
Last year with the Chicago Sky, you quit. You quit. You threw in the towel. Once you realized you never stood a chance, to be honest, with Caitlin Clark for that Rookie of the Year. But once you realized your double streak was over, and it was over. She took over post-Olympic break. Once you realized it was done, you threw in the towel, said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year. You threw in the towel and said your wrist was hurting for the rest of the year and didn't play again. This past the inaugural season of Unrivaled, you didn't even finish that season. You didn't even show up for the championship. No, not only did you not play, you didn't even show up to the game at all. People noticing a pattern with you. That's 2 seasons in a row.
The Chicago Sky often looks sharper without Angel Reese on the floor. Ball movement improves. Spacing opens up. The offense runs through actual sets instead of stalling, while waiting for her to post up or chase a rebound out of position. Guards get cleaner looks, wings cut with purpose, and possessions end with quality shots instead of desperate heaves late in the clock.
Let's get it! Burn! Lack of awareness combined with a lack of ability to jump. Not great! Bang!
Me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow, me bow,
Me bound! Me bound! Yeah! Again! Do it for me. Me bound! Bang!
In stretches without her, the Sky have managed to string together wins and avoid the careless turnovers that keep them buried in the standings. This isn't a tiny sample size, it's a recurring theme. For a player marketed as the franchise cornerstone, the fact that her absence can make the team function better is a damning indictment. The phrase addition by subtraction starts to feel less like a cliche and more like the cold reality in Chicago.
Williams gonna have to hurry, off the dribble, rolls out. Oh, open three. Oh, what a sight for Alexi Hall. She has needed that one to drop.
Alexi Hall catching fire.
Now Chicago just needs to get it a little bit more settled here in the half court. Nurse loses it. Mitchell 2-on-1. It's a foot race. Mitchell to Cunningham. Cunningham right there for 2 more.
In professional sports, there's an old truth that coaches and executives repeat endlessly. The number one ability is availability. No matter how marketable a player might be, missing games strips away real value.
What they do not understand is that coaches, and I know the WNBA in some regards isn't a real sports league, and I don't know if they think like real coaches and real people in sports, but the number one ability is availability. If you're not available, you have no value.
Angel Reese's ongoing day-to-day status is now stretching into a storyline that overshadows her production. Analysts have quietly hinted that the Sky play with more urgency and cohesion when her minutes disappear. The pace quickens, spacing improves, and even the bench energy rises. Without possessions being funneled through one ego, the offense flows more naturally. This is where the perception shifts from unfortunate injury to calculated absence.
Okay, new strategy, team. Angel, keep doing your part. Everyone else, go rebound her misses. Burn! If she keeps missing layups at this rate, she's gonna be serving buttermilk pancakes at Denny's. Butter? Did somebody say butter? Butter pecan! Burn! At a certain point, you just got to applaud greatness. A rebound on her back? Are you kidding? Bang! Simon says, give me another pray-up. How about it? Bang! She really hit under the basket on a layup. Get this girl GPS. Bang! Everybody get up on your feet. It's time to meet and greet the most underpaid athlete. Bang!
When a supposed star's presence feels like a drag on the team's performance and her unavailability coincides with improved results, the conversation changes. Instead of asking when she'll return, people start asking if she should. And for a franchise trying to climb out of the league's basement, that's a brutal question to face. While Angel Reese fades into another round of cryptic injury updates, Caitlin Clark's approach to adversity couldn't be more different. Clark has been battling a legitimate groin injury, one with a clear origin, visible on game footage, and confirmed by team officials.
Caitlin Clark appears to have a legitimate injury that everybody can trace to a moment and a time during the games where she re-aggravated. She originally injured. She had a comeback where it lasted 2 or 3 games, re-injured it. They've hinted at a time frame of late August that she may return. Nothing but a mystery surrounds Angel Reese.
Yet even sidelined, she remains fully engaged. She travels with the Indiana Fever, sits in uniform when possible, breaks down plays during timeouts, and energizes teammates from the bench. Her season averages 16.5 points and nearly 9 assists per game, leading the league in assists. Aren't empty stats. They're game changers that swing outcomes. The difference is presence versus absence, commitment versus retreat. Clark's injury hasn't kept her from being part of the fight. Reese's, on the other hand, has turned into an unexplained vanishing act. In a league where visibility and leadership define star power, Clark's reliability amplifies the gap between the two, and fans have started to take sides.
Indiana Fever destroy the Chicago Sky in Indianapolis on Saturday. Guess who wasn't there? Angel Reese. Angel Reese declined to travel to Indianapolis, and her coach came out and said something about, she's just focused on her rehab right now, and, she's day to day. We've never had an explanation on what caused the back injury, what's a time frame for her recovery. It's similar to so-and-so's back injury. This is something she struggled with here or there. All we've heard is day to day, and Angel Reese has disappeared.
The Indiana Fever are building something that works. They've beaten Chicago 4 straight times this season, with or without Clark in the lineup. Aaliyah Boston dominates the paint. Kelsey Mitchell remains a scoring threat. Sophie Cunningham brings toughness. Natasha Howard adds veteran leadership, and Lexi Hull delivers hustle plays that shift momentum. The system fits Clark's style, and the results show it. Meanwhile, Chicago continues circling the same problems: instability, inconsistent play, and marketing built around a player who spends as much time in street clothes as she does in uniform.
And I'm proud of this group. I think we've shown all season long, they're resilient, they're connected, they pull for each other, they enjoy one another, they celebrate one another, and that stuff alone is good for 10 to 12 points a game. And for this group, the way that they share the ball, how unselfish they are. I mean, I'm really proud of them. It's not been ideal circumstances all season long, but they've shown the character of who they are. They've been resilient. They've responded to adversity, and they continue to elevate one another. And I couldn't be more proud of this group than I am at this moment.
While Indiana's front office adds pieces with a long-term vision, the Sky are stuck explaining absences and dodging questions. Every Fever win over Chicago doesn't just highlight the difference in talent, it exposes the cultural divide. One team is committed to building a contender. The other is tied to a brand that keeps disappearing when it matters most.
I think it just says a lot about who we have as human beings. That was one of the things that we made a priority in the offseason of, who we bring into this organization. Number one, quality human beings, selfless human beings, that want to pull for one another, that understand We have this depth for a reason, and sometimes it creates challenges getting people on the floor. But in situations like this is why you have it. And I'm just, she's right. I mean, as a pro and as a pro coach, this is one of the most connected groups I've seen. I mean,
Angel Reese's pattern of disappearing raises a bigger question. What's the priority? Protecting a brand or building a legacy? For all the photo ops and self-proclaimed status as the face of the franchise, the absence in crucial games undercuts the narrative. Stars are remembered for showing up when the stakes are high, not stepping aside when the road gets rough.
What is the back injury? Everybody's questioning it now. And this will be a third straight season where Angel Reese did not finish playing in games, where she just stopped. She just stopped. Some of these injuries, we saw the injuries. We didn't see what happened. What happened? This is bad.
Caitlin Clark has already spoken about wanting to win multiple championships, and her actions match the ambition. Reese's actions, on the other hand, suggest calculated preservation, avoiding potential stat drops, steering clear of matchups that might expose weaknesses, and keeping her image intact for off-court venture. In a sport where fans gravitate toward reliability, the player who consistently shows up will always outshine the one who selectively participates. And right now, the gap between Clark's legacy building and Reese's brand maintenance is wider than any scoreboard can capture. The contrast is now impossible to ignore. One player is battling through legitimate injury, still traveling, still engaged, still lifting her team. The other is wrapped in mystery, sitting out marquee matchups and leaving her team to fight without her. Chicago's offense flows better, the wins are more frequent, and the chemistry is stronger in her absence. That's not the storyline of a cornerstone, it's the red flag of a franchise tied to the wrong star. Fans deserve answers, but the silence speaks louder than any press release. If this is another calculated PR move, it's one more chapter in a history of selective participation that damages the game more than any loss. Like, subscribe, and comment if this feels like the same disappearing act all over again. The fans have seen this movie before, and no amount of spin can change the ending when the truth plays out on the court.